the show. Today on the Big Hard Facts, we're asking hard questions about fiscal transparency in Nigeria's local government. Yes, the government that's closest to you and I. Now, Nigeria, for those of you who do not know, has 774 local government areas, yet 751 are lacking in behind in fiscal transparency. Yes, we have 774 local government, but we also have LCDAs in some states. Yes. Now, month after month, billions are allocated from Abuja, but citizens still struggle with poor roads, failing schools, horrible healthcare, and underfunded clinics. Why is that, you might ask? What's blocking transparency at the lowest level, which is our local level? Poor capacity, state interference, or maybe deliberate apathy? I don't know. How can we as citizens actually follow the money and demand accountability from these councils that are meant to serve us? Because every other Tuesday we're complaining about one thing or the other that's under the purview of local governments, and yet nothing has been done. Now, I'll be speaking to two civil society persons who've joined me live via Zoom. I have Kunle Lawal. He is of the Electoral College. In fact, he leads it, Electoral College Nigeria. He's no stranger to hard facts. Also joining me is Ayomide Ladipo. Now, Ayomide used to be the head of Tracker under budget. Yes, but she has corrected me now that she no longer is the head of Tracker. Doesn't mean that she's not going to help us to follow the money, but she's joining us today as someone who works with the Center for Communication and Social Impact. Ayomide and Kunle, thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to the Big Hard Facts.
It's a pleasure, Maryann. And
Good evening, Ayomide. We'd like to see your face, please. We're yet to see your face.
Unfortunately, I'm also suffering from effects of bad governance. There's no electricity.
Okay. All right. It's so good to have you guys join us. Let's go straight into the big issues for today. In fact, while I was preparing for this conversation, all I could think of were my callers and all of the times that they've called the names of their local government chairman and dragged them for one thing. In fact, one that his name has stuck in my head thanks to Mr. Chris is Ahmed Akpatira. He no longer is the local government chairman, obviously. But the legacy that Akpatira has left to me and all the callers of Nigeria Info is that he did not do anything. And this is detail for several other people who probably have held the positions at local government levels and have not necessarily done anything. Let me just give you some quick facts before we get to my guest. Under Section 7 and the fourth schedule of the Constitution, local government areas are supposed to handle primary education, healthcare, refuse disposal, local roads, and community development. Yet many councils barely post any public financial records. That's the transparency gap that we're going to be digging into this evening. So let me start with Kunle. Let's talk about the issue of data blackout, Kunle. A new report shows that 751 out of the 774 local government areas and LCDAs have failed to publish key financial information. Now, for you who is very interested in local government issues, which you and I have discussed over and over on several fora, what exactly do you think these local governments are hiding? Is it budget details, procurement lists, or audit results? What exactly is the reason for them holding back to publish their accounts?
well, thank you very much, Maryann, and it's great to be on Hard Facts again. First and foremost, I think where the major problem lies is political interference, and it's a mix between political interference and political illiteracy. So here's a conversation. Most people do not even understand that primary healthcare or primary education is vested in local government. Now, let's take it up a little notch. A lot of us listening to the station would averagely say we are educated and whatever, but come on, we're the ones rambling for state police. So you're discussing state police. There's a federal police. Security is also vested in local government, according to the Constitution. So Why are we not discussing local government police? But as usual, like I said, we can't really. So it's a mix of political interference and very high political literacy. Now, it's political interference. I am one of those, and I was part of those that try to set up, put forward the bill to the House and trying to monitor how it's going. But I've never believed that as long as governors, with the executive powers they have, while conducting local government elections, will there ever be autonomy or any effect of the local government participating? Political interference from state governors is too massive in local governments. In a place like Anambra State, where it even goes top notch, Anambra pushed the State House of Assembly to even demand part of FAC allocations to local governments. We are grateful for people like Kaduna and Ekiti who have open governance systems, who are probably among the local governments you mentioned, who we have access to their spending and accounting. Well, that is because they were intentional, and this is supposed to be nationwide. But only Kaduna and Ekiti took those parameters. So it's for me, if you're asking why these things are hidden, first, it is massive political illiteracy by citizens, and secondly, political interference by other levels of government.
There are people who would say that we know, we ask, we go, we petition, we push for these things, but we never get anything. There's a pure blackout. I think my colleagues and I say this every time we have the opportunity. There was a time when we were in River State and we asked an aide to a serving governor about why the budget had not been published, and they said they were afraid of hackers, that somebody might hack it. So we hear these things in real time, and you cannot tell me that you do not understand what I'm saying. There are people who try to push for these things, but half the time there's also a pushback, or sometimes pure silence.
No, Maryann. This is why the people's political illiteracy comes into play. You are demanding a budget from local government. Yes, you've gone through the right route by demanding it, but here's the conversation. How many of us know that local government, any level at local government, be it chairman or councillors, are not covered by immunity? So if they're not covered by immunity, what stops you from, and you can leave your state and go to FCT to institute the case, but you can actually institute a case against them, tagging EFCC, or also instituting a case against EFCC and NFIU or ICPC on mismanagement of funds. Nobody has done that. And if you haven't done that, you can't say you just ask them to show the budget. You can actually force that to happen. And for me, what's most critical is how many people even know the FAC allocation of whatever local government they're in, especially with Lagos, with your massive division. Like, let's give an example. Alimosho is 1.8 billion. We are clear that's what goes to Alimosho. Lagos has miraculously created its so-called LCDs or whatever you call it, that seems to make Lagos work. No offense, but come on, it's a little complicated. So here's the conversation. That money, 1.8 billion, is divided by, let's say, I think Alimosho has 5, or is it 4 LCDs within itself? So that's 4 LCDs dividing 1.8 billion or 6, whichever. But you should be able to come out. That means averagely 300 million. There's no water in Lagos. I don't want to talk about drainages. I don't even want to have the conversation that there's the assumption that there's education that's at public level in Lagos. It's a whole myriad of problems. And so if the people do not even know what local government does, they do not even know what to do to trigger what needs to be done, or they do not know what to do to bring out the real facts of what can be achieved with local governments. How do you expect them to even demand accountability? So it's the basis of you are engaging something you don't understand.
Interesting. I'm going to come back to you to talk more about the politics of this, but let me bring Miss Ladipo in. Let's talk about money trail quickly. Every month, FAC allocations go from Abuja to states, and then, of course, to local government, but services still lag. Where do you see the biggest leakage? At the point of state transfer inside the local government accounts themselves? I mean, because Kunle has said something about the fact that, look, some people don't even know the responsibilities of local governments, but do the local government people themselves know what their responsibilities are?
Thank you, Maryann. And it's also to show that it's an intertwined problem and there's no one standalone problem or solution. So, yes, the money goes to the local government through the states. The states also controls majority of the finances. But then there's a reason why, even if it's a sham election, we can debate the credibility of the elections and all that. Local government positions, for the larger part of it, especially after the Supreme Court ruling, are elected positions where citizens went out to vote for them. And so there's the part where the disbursements are there. The disbursements have tripled, if I would say that, after the removal of the fuel subsidy and the floating of the currency. So there's that trail, the money is there. Then there's that gap of people cannot comprehend how much money is getting to the local government. There's still that part of do you know how much your local government is getting monthly? This is a monthly allocation. And when you're able to quantify, there were some people last month, I think they received that series of emails. Budget has a platform, that's me.budget.org, where you sign up, you choose your state and local government, and you get prompted every time budget updates the data that, oh, this is the amount that your local government has received for this particular month. So you get prompted. It's like when you get prompted, if you're a Lagos resident, when they pay your payee income tax, you get prompted that this amount has been deposited. And at that moment, maybe a light sparks in your head and you'll be like, Lagos State is collecting this amount of money from me. Why am I suffering from this and that? Then people start speaking up. There was that series of tweets recently where everybody started saying, oh, why doesn't this happen? And this was because people were able to quantify how much they are contributing, either both directly or indirectly. So if I'm in Alimosho, when there was that aggregation of data some years ago, we saw that of the 10 out of the 774 local governments that received the highest allocations, 8 of them are in Lagos. I was even surprised when I saw that my own local government was there and I was not seeing any development that was commensurate. And I was able to say, if there was a way we could find how to distribute this information and tell market women, oh, and I'm going to just say it in Yoruba now for people. Iṣẹ́ mọ̀ pé 5 billion ní Bangboye gbà ní, and that translates to, did you know that Bangboye, who is the local government chairman for Mushin, collected 5 billion naira this particular month? It's going to trigger discussions. It's going to start they're not going to go empty-handed to meetings. The reason why a lot of time advocacies fail is because citizens go cap in hand to go and beg. And we've seen a change from that when they are giving information that, oh, this amount, there's this allocation that you're entitled to that should address this and that. And we've seen that when we do our advocacy, when we show them that, oh, this amount has been allocated for this amount has been allocated for that. So the advocacy changes from going to beg their government to do something for them to, oh, we know that this amount and this amount and this amount is there. Where is it going to? Why have we not gotten this? So I would say that while there's a lot of problems, there is the political illiteracy and interference that Kunle has talked about, and the other issues. One of the things that is causing the gap is that awareness, that people are not aware of how much resources the local government is controlling and how they can use that to benefit, advocate for themselves. Thank you.
Yeah, but there are critics who say that, look, the issue of local government financial independence is also the elephant in the room. In fact, they're saying that because state governments control the accounts, this jack account, joint account between the state and the local government, it makes it very difficult for accountability to be a thing, knowing that there is a loss of interference. Would you like to speak to that?
Yes, I would like to speak to that. That exists in itself, but we cannot use that to excuse inactions from the local government or irresponsibility and allowed them to run amok. No matter how much state interference is there, they still control resources. And for instance, I would also like to say, last year I met a local government chairman at a meeting physically, and I discussed with him and I said, "Oh, your budgets are not public." And he says, "Oh, if anybody comes to us that they want the budget, we'll give them." He was saying it to posture to people at the event. And after we finished the event, I went to meet. I said, "Okay, yes, give us." He said, "No, we cannot show our budget, or we cannot show anybody." With that one, and my sister, I was just joking. I was just lying. We cannot give anybody the budget. Where am I going to? What is the reason why they cannot give anybody, they cannot show citizens how they are spending money? If truly this, you have no control over finances at all, and it's the state that is controlling everything, then you should have no problem being open. But because they themselves also do not have clean hands, we cannot continue to infantilize local government and say that they have no issue there, so we should just face the state government. We can do multiple things at a time, and that's what I always advocate for. Now, we cannot, our problems are multifaceted, so we cannot say that we're only going to focus on one thing. It's going to be like shooting ourselves in the leg. We can continue to advocate for increased financial independence for local government, while also holding them accountable to what they're supposed to do. Like I've said, I reiterated it. No matter what, local government positions, both the councillors and the chairman, they are elected. So they have a responsibility and a duty to their electorate who put them in power. Regardless, we elected the governor has their own responsibility. We also elected the local government chairman. If everybody puts enough pressure on the local government and also on the state government, maybe everybody is going to find a solution to how local government will also revolt and find their independence from the state government. But I want to say one does not cancel the other. We have to find a way to do that balance. Thank you.
Okay, Kunle, I'm going to come to you and I'm going to ask a two-pronged question. I'm hoping that time will permit. I have just about 2 minutes and 26 seconds. Corruption and also capacity. Because there are those who are saying that local government councils simply don't have trained staff, and they're not equipped with the tools to manage transparent financing. I don't know how true that is, I have gone to several local government councils in my state. I have done business with them. I don't know if really they have been trained or not, because that's another conversation on its own. But then civil society reports mention that there have been a lot of ghost workers, inflated contracts in local government, abandoned projects, even. So what's the most common pattern of abuse that you, as a person, has documented, seen, experienced? And how much money do you think is typically lost to all of these, levels of corruption or unaccountability, for the want of a better way to describe it?
Okay. Nigeria, on its 774 local governments, I think as of 2024, spent 2.23 trillion. I'll call the number again, 2.3 trillion. And there's totally nothing to show for it on 774 local governments. To me, the biggest problem within local governments is ghost workers. I have friends and people that are listening here. Some people are collecting local government salaries because maybe their uncle became chairman since they were 18. Some from Sokoto, some from Cross River, some from Bayelsa. This is a problem. No local government.
Oh dear. Kunle, your internet has frozen you out of this conversation. And literally kicked him out, but he's back. Kunle, the internet kicked you out.
Yeah, I'm here. Yes, and I'm back. So
Okay.
literally, I know people that have served within local government that are not working there in another state because their uncles were chairman. Ghost workers, I think, is a major problem. And I'll tell you what I think is the second highest problem. No local government elections in Nigeria has ever produced up to 7% participation. For me, it shows how much people are concerned about local government. That inaction by citizens already sends a statement. So if nobody's participating, nobody wants to hold accountable, nobody cares. Nobody even cares about, you don't see a young person saying they want to run for office and they're running for local government office. It's always House of Reps, State House of Assembly at least. Nobody goes to the local government. Nobody goes to the council. And for me, that breeds the kind of thought of or projection we have placed on local governments. And I feel that is the major problem. Those two problems, ghost workers, which is the lie falsified for them to take a lot of money. And then the fact that we, the citizens, do not care and cannot produce more than 7% of voting population to participate in local governments. Nobody in Nigeria produces 7%.
I think I want to agree with you, because one of the first elections that I participated in was a councillorship election. We'll take a quick break, guys. When we come back, we're still talking local government financing and transparency. We'll be right back.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this.
It's the Indomie Eat and Win promo. The more you eat, the more you win. How to win? Buy the Indomie Eat and Win promo pack. Find the promo code inside. Visit indomie.ng/eat and win. Enter your promo code and start earning points fast for a chance to win exciting gifts and 1 million naira cash every week for a lucky winner. So hurry now, eat and win. Let the winning begin. Visit indomie.ng/eat and win for more details. Terms and conditions apply.
There is something about good news. You can't keep it to yourself.
Guys, it has finally happened.
There is something about joy. You can't keep it to yourself. And there is something about the rich taste of Lipton. You can't keep it to yourself.
When you get something you enjoy, you share. Lipton Yellow Label. Tea so good, you want to share.
My mama no lie, oh. Food waste with na money kill and plus everything combined, oh. Everything combined, oh. Ogbonge just the arrive, oh. She tell me say na Devon King, so yeah, oh, she dey use fry, oh. Yeah. Now why the jollof it is sweet like this? Chicken in the crisp like this. Fry the plantain, the chips and fish. Everything sweet and bliss. It's very, very soya, my cheese. Now we dey run it down like grid. They cook clean, they fry with cheese. Devon King oil is very, very.
Introducing the new Devon King's Soya Vegetable Oil from Devon King's, our trusted family brand. Available in stores nationwide.
People capsule full ground anytime pen they around. If pen one show in power, 3 in 1 day to knock and power. Ibuka pen for body, pen from fever. That's why I don't carry up always. Ibuka hammer pen away. Ibuka they buy me always. Ibuka for you always.
After 3 days, if body no tranga, go see Dokita. Na Shalina Healthcare Limited, them market am.
Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, Tandagdiba with Ibuka.
This is what goodness tastes like. Golden caramel, creamy buttermint, and rich coffee. There's a Cadbury candy for every moment.
Cadbury caramel, Cadbury coffee, Cadbury buttermint. Sweet, smooth, and full of flavor. Whether you're chilling at home or on the move, there's a Cadbury candy for every mood.
Yeah, there's a Cadbury candy for every moment.
New Lawal water shield cement now confirm. #1 waterproof cement for Nigeria. Yeah. Ogbonge cement for waterlogged areas. #1 waterproof cement for Nigeria. Yeah. New Lawal water shield cement #1. New Lawal waterproof cement now confirm. One time. Put full stop for water wahala. With Lawal water shield cement, water go collect. If water jam house, Odeshi. Lawal, na confirm. Cement, new Lawal water shield cement, na confirm.
Put full stop for water wahala.
E get many things where they gbadu pampe for. You fit dey transfer yafun free of charge.
Tell me more.
Data and airtime na cheap on top pampe.
Talk the tori now dey hear.
You pay for something, they give you something back. No be play.
No be cashback be that.
Them still sama you reach 20% kule interest on top saving.
This better. Now more.
Now app will get many enjoyment and jollification. Na pampi. Say yes to more. Guess what, Nigeria? The Kellogg Superstar Quiz Show is back with season 4. Get ready to watch young superstars from schools across Nigeria battle it out in the ultimate contest of knowledge, speed, and fun. Catch all the excitement from 12th October on Z World, DSTV channel 166, and GoTV channel 30 every Saturday and Sunday at 10 a.m. sharp. It's going to be a thrilling journey of learning, laughter, and superstar moments, and you don't want to miss it.
Superstar Quiz Show!
Auntie, you are enjoying, oh? Only you. Peppered rice, amala, nkwobi, masa, cake, and now ice cream. I hope you have Justifies on you.
Justifies? I never leave home without it.
That's right, Justifies, the new natural effervescent powder for an instant refreshing relief from heartburn and stomach indigestion. Just add Justifies into a cup of water, drink, and you're good to go. Justifies, your relief on the go. Justifies is from the House of Justide. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Made and marketed by Ranbaxy Nigeria Limited, a Sun Pharma company.
See, everybody with him own wahala. Every day comes with its own version of challenges, and you have to be ready to face them, because only then can you move on to the next. That's why I never miss my breakfast. Scratch that. My peak breakfast, with the nutrients and energy I need to face each day, one challenge at a time.
Every day is a good day to power on with a peak breakfast. Have you had your peak? Reach for your peak.
Who's got it cheaper?
Oguso!
Because how else do you explain these prices? Royster potato chips in sour cream and onion, hot and spicy and original. Now 2,700 naira at Boku. Others now 3,300 naira. 75 cl aqua clear water, 130 naira only. Inside market, 200 naira. Go Vita sachet unko, 150 naira only. Outside unko, 250 naira.
Oya, rush check Boku for better prices.
If Boku abi no Boku.
In the cooking game, you need a winning game plan. I'm not just talking about your fresh ingredients, utensils, or cooking skills. I'm talking about your choice of seasoning. My game plan is incomplete without Maggi chicken flavor. Made with a flavorful formation of onions, celery, turmeric, it's my game changer. Elevate the taste of your everyday dishes with delicious, rich chicken flavor. Oh yeah, let's go.
New Maggi chicken flavor, my game changer.
The energy from breakfast doesn't last my child the whole day. By halftime, your champ will be low on energy. That's why break time is the right time to refuel with the nourishing Milo drink.
Keep your champ in the game with a Milo drink in their lunchbox. It's made from the goodness of malt, milk, cocoa, and contains iron and calcium. Milo drink has a great taste your champs will love and a nourishing energy to help them make the most of every day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo!
Little body, big moves. Little brain, big learning. Your little child is eager to do big things. Every sachet of Cerelac Junior comes with the nutrition they need: natural grains, protein, and iron to support their physical growth, learning, and development. So you can fully enjoy your little one's big moments of growth.
The voices that speaks the truth. Live from the heart of the conversation.
I think there's nothing that has strained our nerves like this concept of unity.
The politicians who are pushing out this narrative, they are not tribalistic, but they are making you tribalistic.
Nigerians have expressed outrage over the certificate forgery by Nigeria's Minister of Science and Technology.
Same-sex marriage, Church of Nigeria rejects election of new Archbishop of Canterbury.
That the people that are killed in the Boko Haram or terrorism across this country are only Christians. That is unfair.
We are complaining. Election will come. We will still collect 1,000 naira and still vote for the same people.
Gas was to be sold by Dangote at 800 naira. It's all these gas dealers that block it.
Match your actions or match what you are saying with reality.
Stay with us. More coming up on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Understanding Nigeria starts with asking better questions. Hard facts on Nigeria Info, the nation's #1 talk, news, and sports radio station. Let's talk.
And talk we shall. 34 minutes gone past the 5 o'clock hour. It's still the big hard facts. Today, we're looking at, of course, fiscal transparency at the lowest level of government, local government, and why there's been a failure of sorts in being accountable, I beg your pardon, to the people that they supposedly serve. My guest, Kunle Lawal of the Electoral College, and of course I have Ayomide Ladipo here with me. Of course, she's the one who follows the money. She introduced Tracker to us back in the day, and how you can tell where your money is going and how much money is allocated to your local governments, your states, and what they're doing with the money. Now, before we went on that break, Kunle, we were talking about corruption and the willpower, capacity, from these guys. But if there are no consequences, it's going to be business as usual, right? I mean, civil society reports that, in fact, that 97% of these local governments are opaque. What does it mean now for grassroots level, services? For example, our health centers. And like I said, when I was way younger, a few kilometers from where you live, you'd find a health post. Those things are quietly disappearing. We don't see them anymore. We still have them unequipped. Some of them grass is growing. There's nothing happening there. Some streets like the ones I hear every day here in Lagos that are supposed to be fixed, tarred. In fact, one of the ones that still sticks in my head recently is somewhere in Ikoyi or Balende. I hear there's a huge spot where if it rains and your car falls in, that's the end. There's no saving you. But there are local government chairmen who were just recently sworn in. When we're using Lagos as our focal point here, because that's where we are. How do we get consequences? How do we make sure that there are consequences for their inactions or their inability to be accountable to us or to do their jobs? Because it looks like whether they do it or not, somebody will always get into that office, and then when their tenure is over, another person comes. How do we stop that from happening? Consequences.
So first, since you're using Lagos as a pilot, I think I've been part of a grassroots awards which is done for Lagos State local governments, and I know why the board didn't invite me back. That's because I think the person who scored the highest on my markings of an LCDA had minus 20 something. And here's the conversation. We went down to meet people within local governments, and the idea of someone thinking his local government person performs is that the person attended your child's birthday. Really? The so-called educated capital of Nigeria. Let me be honest with you. I think Lagos is the most politically backward state in Nigeria, and I will say that clearly, and I have my reasons for saying that. And so you don't know the FAC allocation. You don't know what they are supposed to do. How would you expect them to do anything they're ever supposed to do? And nobody cares. It's only within, and I'm using Lagos, it's only in Nigeria you hear federal road, state road. As long as a road is in a local government, it is under the jurisdiction of that particular local government. That's the truth. You have the power to repair, you have the power to source funds to repair, and will be granted funds if you make. But we don't have these conversations. How many Nigerians even know? Even the local government chairmen themselves, they assume they have immunity. That is because, of course, the average local government chairman has not even read the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to even start with. So, as they assume, we boldly call them honorable. What are they honoring? We don't even know, and this is how bad it is. Who is even supposed to hold the local government liable? How many people in Lagos know that the councillors are the legislative arm? They are the National Assembly of the local government. That's another problem. Nobody in Lagos knows it. So here's the problem.
Our listeners know because we've educated them many times on this.
I know what I'm saying. When I say averagely Lagos has 10 million voters. This is the same Lagos that cannot even give us 2 million voters in a gubernatorial election. This is the same Lagos that cannot even give us 100,000 in a local government election. Are you joking? What are you saying? Please let me continue. Back to what I'll say. Now allow me fire Lagos. So back to what I'll say. these people do not know. So councillors do not have not even opened the constitution, don't even know the state laws. How would they make local government laws? How would they impeach the local government chairman when he's making a mistake? I've seen councillors in Lagos. The only thing I remember about them is their massive body odor. No offense. But that's the
Wow,
situation in Lagos.
offense
There are people
taken.
that don't. so I'll run to my Abuja now. You know me, I'm half. So so it is a situation where the councillors don't even know what they are doing. The average person, when he sees a councillor, talks about road, whatever. Nobody even mentions laws. That's too hard. So if the person that is to be the check on the local government chairman does not know his work, State House of Assembly think that Fela Day is a law they should be pushing forward in Lagos. Let's push that one aside. State House of Assembly too is sleeping on a bicycle. How do you expect now the average citizen who is not even involved in politics? And I must say this about Lagos. Lagos is a business environment. So Lagos is they don't really get their money from government or anything. So they are more business oriented. But look at the basics. The average Lagosian is multitasked. They're taxed, sorry, they're taxed by state, they're taxed by local governments. This is also not their business. They do not participate in the elections. How then can you even begin to negotiate local governments working?
Okay.
Etiosa is supposed to be the smartest local government in Nigeria. If Etiosa had an underwear size, I'm sure its IQ would be below its underwear size. That's my own with Etiosa because they do not come out for local government election. They still give the poorest returns in voting or advice to government or anything they're doing pulling out. So it's a whole pile of problems and they are all happening at the same time. So we cannot even like I stated, 2.23 trillion is lost every year to local governments.
And
Lagos accounts.
I'm sitting right
Lagos
here in
accounts for
Etiosa, and you are
Lagos accounts for a
and
lot.
you're berating us, Etiosa people, because I'm sitting right here in Etiosa.
Let me
Apparently,
help
where the
you.
big boys live.
Is it not the same Etiosa that you call interlocking tiles and express, or is there another Etiosa?
Let me come to you because Kunle is taking jabs at us. Let's talk about reform ideas and citizen action. Ayomide, what single reform would make the fastest difference? Do we need public budget portals? Do we need independent audits? How do we get all of those things? Or maybe when the federal government is giving these monies, there have to be conditions attached to them, tied to transparency. And for the people who are listening now, how can communities follow the money? What are the practical steps that these citizens can take going forward? Ayomide.
Thank you. Recently, as we would see in the coming year, we would see the activation of local structures, especially as elections are coming. You see a lot of CDA meetings. CDA meetings would be as important as meetings in Asurok. Allow me that exaggeration, but that's the way it is. CDA meetings. You see CAN meetings, even youth association meetings, market meetings. Everybody will come together to strategize. And I think we need to be aware of how we want to use our power. And so availability of data is one thing. The democratizing the access is another thing. For instance, this me.budget.org that I'm talking about has been in existence for over 5 years now. But it's still a limited number of people that know that it exists, that know that, there's somewhere you can go and you can see how much your local government is getting. And as the tension will be heightened going into 2026, where everybody will be paying attention to everything political, conversations will become political. This is the best time, and one of the what's the word I would use? One of the quickest wins we can do is to publicize as much as possible. Either responsibility is both on CSOs and on media. Buy out billboards, put out information, put out ads, and if it can be targeted specific ads. Maybe for Alimosho, there's an ad that says, do you know the Alimosho has received this billion naira this year, Alimosho local government has received this billion naira this year from you? Is it reflecting in what you are getting? Imagine maybe a billboard, a small billboard of that, or a flyer over a road where it's over a bad road or a muddy road. Like, you can already see the contrast immediately. People's head can spark and say, okay, this, topics of discussion start forming, so that next year, when these discussions are being made, where these negotiations are being made, people can use tangible data and tangible submissions to get results. It's not just based on what you can get. I wanted to say that Nigerians can eat their cake and have it. There's nowhere where you cannot, if a politician wants to give you bribe to vote for them, and I'm not bribing quotes or incentives that they share to vote. They cannot give you that incentive and also give you at least 50% of what you want together. It's not the either or situation, and that's what we need to tell people. You must get what you have. And I think maybe civil society, the quickest way, the easiest thing for us to do is to publicize information as possible and politicize things if we can. There's a thing where civil society and media tries to play safe, or tries to do the big brother, or the politics is not safe. Development is not gotten, and as we've seen, development is not gotten by playing, oh yeah, I don't want to be stained by mud or anything. We have to politicize discussions if this is how we are going to get attention from our government, especially now that we've seen that this is a government of propaganda and PR. Anything that trends online, anything that they see that the public is paying attention to, they actually pay attention to it as well. So we have to use that tool to our own advantage. And I'm just going to wrap up by saying, again, we need to find creative and very ruthless and strategic ways to publicize information, to use that information strategically for all the meetings and all the discussions and everything that will be happening next year. Next year is a very strategic year.
Absolutely.
If we can achieve anything, yeah, it has to be, we have to start getting it now. So I know Nigeria Info, you are always doing your best. AdFact is playing its own role. Imagine us getting a lot more like that. And so we would actually get somewhere. That's my submission. Thank you.
Well, Lagos, the phone lines are open. I've got about 7 minutes. You got questions, you got comments. There's a lot to learn here. Even if it means bringing Kunle and Ayomide every week to educate us on our local government's rights, responsibilities, everything that we need to know. This is the mandate I would like to stand on. But in the meantime, the phone lines are open. 0201-277-0930, 0201-465-7190. Join the conversation. Go straight to the point. Hello.
How are you doing? Jonathan is my name.
Go ahead.
Kunle, they are always mounted. So I'm not surprised about the Kunle you are having there. They are not a dull moment people. So I need to be telling us reality. Jonathan is my name anyway. This is another reality about us out here. And like I keep on saying, Maryann, everybody out here is far away from what is happening. And that's the truth, what Mr. Kunle is saying. And just like I've been saying in so many fora, in so many meetings on your floor here, 80% of us does not participate in the election. And that is the problem to me. And you can hear it in another tune from Mr. Kunle's voice. So I think all of us out here, we have a lot to do. I don't know who is going to educate us. Whether we need to educate ourselves, I don't know. But we need to realize that we own this process and we need to own it. And that's just it.
All right. Thank you, Jonathan, for calling. 0201-277-0993. Join the conversation. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Yeah. Good evening, Maryann.
Good evening.
This is Pastor Ladipo.
Go ahead, please.
I'm calling from Orile. Now, my take is this. Even a situation where you want to participate, and you see some pushback, either from some of these thugs and these area boys, whatever, what do you do at that point? That is one. Two, help me ask the budget man. I can't remember my password. Since I've been getting the email, I can't open that of my own local government. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Pastor Ladipo. I think that question is for Ife. Ayomide, I beg your pardon. Hello.
Hey, Maryann. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Yes,
Go ahead.
This is the one. This is the one of Odobolu. You see, Maryann, when the election come, all this talk, we no go hear them. But when they don't do finish, do wayo, finish, carry the wrong people, put for government. Then after they don't, they scatter everything. Then the better people will now come out and be chatting for radio, television, everywhere. Where are them when the last election was being prepared?
Where are you? Why do you have to wait for? Excuse me. You like to make excuses. So these better people came to die for your sins. What about you starting those conversations? You have to wait for them to start the conversation for you, Abi.
Let me tell you one thing. For my area here, I'm the first person to register my voter card. But I've not used it one day. So because of the nonsense they are doing in the polling zone there,
right.
And when they are doing it, nobody will even they're saying I'm going to collect 1,000.
Thank you very much, Eze, for calling. We need to take other calls. It's interesting how we make these excuses, but go ahead.
I say something here.
Yeah.
I say something here. The false assumption, and this I want everybody to understand this. The false assumption in a democracy that voting is participation is one of the major problems we have in Nigeria. You have not joined political party. Why are you talking about thugs and voters card? Were you there when they were picking the people that will emerge in the primaries? Nigeria's elections are a selection because you are not there during the primaries. For a democracy to function, you must be there at a political party. Haven't you seen? You watch America now, you see the way Republican primaries, everybody is there. Democratic primaries, everybody. You are not there, you are nowhere. Then you appear and want to vote who they've selected for you. Come on, are you guys joking?
I think my query is about the fact that we wait for we in our minds there are a select few that their responsibility is to talk on our behalf, and we would never ever be part of that conversation. All we do is complain and ask where those people are, which is something that worries me a lot about us Nigerians. And thank you for re-emphasizing the issue of the processes that lead up to the elections. We all just wait for the elections, but we're not participating in the processes that lead up to elections, which obviously inform what we get at the end of the day, and it worries me. But I want to take a few more calls. 0201-277-0993. I would like to read some messages that are coming in on WhatsApp quickly because I have just about 2 minutes on the clock before we go. Charles from Lagos says, Lagos is the most politically backward in Nigeria. Please help us. Please, what's your name? Charles from Lagos. Do not call anybody names. It is his position. And if you do not necessarily agree with his position, please come out with a better position or something that's contrary. Don't ask him to leave the state. This is your problem. Okay, what are you doing, Charles, to make your Lagos a good place instead of just sitting there and hurling insults at people? This is the reason why we're where we are today, and it's very sad that we have these kinds of conversations. So someone points out something, instead of you to come up with a superior argument, you'd rather hurl insults at them. I guess that's one of our setbacks here in this part of the world. I'd like to take a few more calls, and maybe I can just take one more call. I have just one more minute. Okay, let me use that 1 minute. 30 seconds for okay, let me 30 seconds for Ayomide and 30 seconds for you, Kunle. Going forward, just in 30 seconds, what must we do if we must be able to gain the upper hand in 2027? 30 seconds.
The local government first is the first handshake of democracy to the people. If we miss it here, we'll get every other level of government wrong. And that's what we've been getting wrong. If we get the local government right, nothing will concern you with Mr. President or Mr. Governor. Except you're discussing Nigeria's position on Palestine or whatever. So it is key, and I'll reiterate this again. Without a political literate society, we cannot have a functional democracy. That's why you hear conversations, he called Lagos a backward state. It's time to insult Kunle. I gave figures. You have a 10 million voting population. You can't account for 2 million people voting. That's political backwardness. And I have the data and numbers to back that.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Ayomide.
Thank you. I think I'll just reiterate what we've been saying before. I think we need to be more intentional. We saw how much power of the people, how far it could go in 2023. I think we can replicate that this time around with more vigor, with more vim. If you need to register, register. If you find yourself in places where discussions are being made, political discussions are being made, talk about it, say your issues, talk about what we need to do. And when it's time to vote, please stay with your vote and also participate at the primary levels. Like Kunle has said, a lot of people do not participate at the primary levels. And by the time you are going to by the time you are going to the ballot box, you are just going to choose who some set of people have
We have to
chosen
go.
for you.
We have to go. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
thank you. So please.
Thank you so much, Ayomide, Ladipo, and Kunle Lawal. Thank you. Always a pleasure to have you guys on the show. My name is Maryann Okon, Lagos. Thank you for being part of the show. We've got to go. Bye-bye.
Hey there, mums and dads. Did you know that some children are picky eaters and also do not get enough fruits and vegetables from their diet? Well Kid Baby and Infant Syrup is a food supplement from Vitabiotics.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.